The Natural Home Network. The Natural Home Network. The Natural Home Network.
What we need. And it's just like, have you ever told someone has ever said, your body knows what it needs?
Yeah.
That's real. That's real. And when it comes to color therapy, you will be drawn to colors, and that will be healing to you. If you're needing a little balance, you're going to like the pinks and the blues and the teals. If you're needing a little more excitement, yellow, orange. If you're needing, romance, purple, what I'm saying? All these different things. You need tranquility, you need peace, you need comfort, white. All of those things. You think about it. Start thinking, why do they use white bedding in the hotels? Because that's a place of rest. And you feel clean, you feel good. Even though thousands of people sleep on that bed, you still get a good night's rest. On that
I want to think about that part.
Yeah, so it all ties together.
Well, you talked a little bit about how easy it was. And I'm going to be honest with you, I saw how your face lit up when you started talking about other things other than you. So we're going to transition a little bit. So when you started talking about the color, you're like, da, 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 da. And I am there with you. I even leaned up in my seat. Okay. But now I'm going to lean back a little bit and we're going to transition. Okay.
Okay.
So the premise of the Natural Home Network is to help Black women to heal behind closed doors. Okay. That means, particularly in our community, sometimes things are so taboo. And I don't necessarily recommend telling everybody your story and your business, but at the point that you can be vulnerable enough to share how you got over, what helped you behind closed doors. So, take me behind your door just for a little bit and tell me about a time where you needed to heal that is connected to how and why you created your business in the first place for yourself.
I actually have quite a few. But, for the sake of time, I think the biggest moment for me, and I think I've shared this with you before, 2017 was a really rough year for our family. I had heart surgery myself in February, and then 2 months later, my husband had a massive heart attack. And through that, he had a heart attack, quadruple bypass, and then he had a stroke on the table at the age of 38. So our world was turned upside down, and after that, he stayed home with us for 8 months. But during that time, I was a caregiver. I went from being his partner and lover to a caregiver. So that was a first big transition, going from, that wearing that hat to now this hat. So fast forward 2 years after he, had healed and got back to work. Thank God, God had blessed him. I realized that it was a lot going on in me. I think it was the first time my kids were away from me since the accident, or not the accident, since my husband was sick. And I realized we were supposed to be, reconnecting, having a good old time. And I literally had a breakdown. I couldn't stop crying. And the thing for me was, I'm supposed to be happy and enjoying my husband, but now I'm crying and my kids are gone. Well, that was the first time I had that quiet time and that downtime not being a mother, not having to cook or clean or take care of someone. And so it was time for me to recharge, but it was also time for me to relax and rejuvenate. And here I am falling apart, you know. During this time, you know, I also realized that, you know, I couldn't stop crying and I couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. And I would always go through my husband's ordeal. I would always go in my closet and I would hide in my closet from my kids when I would come in between breaks, you know, from the hospital. And I realized over that 2-year span, my closet became my refuge. And that was a place where I cried and I hid and I prayed. And also that was a place that was completely out of order. Everything was everywhere. And I didn't even realize it then. I didn't even realize how bad it was until one day, you know, at time when I was supposed to be recharging and reconnecting with my husband, and I'm crying and I'm looking around and I'm like, everything is everywhere, you know. I actually had to, it went as far as I had to call EAP at my husband's job for support. Me being in the mental health field previously, you know, I have encouraged people to be serious about their mental health and to go and get the help that you need. So I did. I went and I made the call, you know, and I'm crying on the phone. And, you know, I was all, you know, putting it all out on the table until, you know, the woman on the other line is asking me all the questions, you know, and I've been on the other side of this phone before, so I know all the questions. But then she gets to the question of, do you feel like you're going to hurt yourself? And I thought about it and I said, well, I don't know if I should answer this, and I don't know how to answer this, because then it's going to be a trickle effect, you know, depending on how I answered it. So, you know, that was a pivotal moment for me to realize that something was not right with me. And I was smart enough to get off that phone, but at the same time, it shook something up in me. So I went back to the place where I felt like it all started, in terms of my closet. And then I looked around, and 2 years later, my hospital bags were still packed. And 2 years later, I'm sitting there with the hospital bags because I was so used to going back and forth to the hospital, seeing about my husband. And I'm like, wow, you know, so I thought about it. And like I said, with my background in psych, I thought about it. Why is this like this? And I went and I did some research and I thought about closets and I learned about what closets meant. Now, the rest of my house is in order, but my closet was a mess. And closets represent pain. Represents trauma, it represents hurt. And so what I was doing, I was padding, adding, hoarding in the space. But it's also in a place where people couldn't see it. So that's why I could hide from the world. So if you have a guest that comes over, they're not going to know your pain. They're not going to see your pain because they're not in your closet.
Right.
So from that moment, it drove me to dive deeper into understanding what was going on with me. And what was going on with me is I did not give myself permission to feel. I didn't feel any of that pain. I just kept going. My engine was constantly revved up because that's all I know. I grew up in the South, you know, it's like you do what you got to do. As long as you got 2 working arms and 2 working legs, you work, you do what you got to do. You take care of your family, you know, and that's what I did. But at the same time, I wasn't taking care of my own interior. I wasn't recognizing how the trauma that I had going on with my husband and my family, how it was affecting me and how I was just, you know, putting a lipstick on it or just painting over it, you know.
Not even noticing the foundation was cracked.
And so what did it for me was seeing my closet and seeing my bags packed for almost 2 years after the fact. And so what it was is I was just waiting for something else to happen. I kept my bags packed, you know.
Panic
so
mode, like ready to go.
Was always in, you know, ready to go, fight, flight or fight, mode. And, that was that was the start of it. That was the start of my healing process. And that's where family design was birthed, actually, in that closet.
In the closet.
In the closet. Yeah.
Huh. I thank you for sharing that story. That it is, it's not my first time hearing it, but every time to hear you say it and to see the healing that has come out of it. And it really gives women the courage to, one, identify that there is even a closet to begin with.
Exactly.
What's in that closet? What's packed and ready to go in that closet? And then the fact that you can get out, you can get out, close that door, and get the help that you need. So I appreciate just being able to air the fact that we are not alone, in the sense that you can go get the help you need. And the things that we think that we're going through by ourselves is so common. Mental health concerns are so common. Anxiety, depression, all these things that plague our community. And we put, nope, everything's fine. Everything. I've been on Zoom for a year. I've been in the house. I got to whisper and be quiet for a year. And I keep like joking with that. But it really has taken, I can't stand Zoom. I can't stand. And I'm very happy that my first episode is with you, because I have a comfort level with you. But it's good to break my little Zoom quarantine and be in here. I do go back to work on Monday. So being able to transition, I'm gonna have to practice my "you don't get on my nerves" face. I'm gonna have to practice that, because it's been a while, But I just truly appreciate.
Well, I do want to add something to part of that story and in a part of my healing. With me being able to identify that there was a problem, and me figuring out, one of the things that I did to figure out what actually was going on was I literally turned into an investigator. I literally went around my whole house and looked at every space. I observed the kids, because my kids are homeschooled as well, but I observed them. I observed our routines, everything, and kind of studied them. And I seen the differences in the kids. I've seen the differences I've seen things in our routines that wasn't working. And I was able to cross-reference, like my son was wet in the bed. And I realized that it started when my husband went into the hospital. So I was able to I was able to go through and kind of just sit back and study the situation and see that, we have some imbalances in this home. And what is causing the imbalance, So after I did this, after I went through, I created a checklist. I said, okay, this closet is not right. This bedroom, my bedroom needed a refresh at that time, because all I could see was my husband in the hospital bed, And when he came home, we had the aids, the beds and the lifts and all that kind of stuff. So we needed to change. We needed to change the environment. And so then that's when I implemented the changes, the physical changes in our environment. I redid the kids' game room. I reorganized my closet. I refreshed my bedroom, because I needed to change and transform the space to match the healing that was going on within.
Now, isn't that closet your office now?
No.
Oh, okay. All right.
It has
You're in your office now.
Yeah, I'm in my office now.
All right. Well, that is an amazing insight that I think will help.
It has a meditation room. That's what you're talking about. That's not my closet. Has a meditation room.
That is goals then, because I got a little tiny corner. But I do want to talk about what we do to kind of maintain this healing. It's a work in progress. It's not just identifying the imbalances that we have. It's not, girl, your lashes are good. Are mine still good? Because I was trying to hold back tears.
Now that was tears, I was like that.
Yeah, mine were tears too. Just hearing how you've healed and then knowing you now. Yeah, it's good stuff. What was I saying?
I don't know. Oh, we were talking about
how we continue to heal. How we kind of keep, if we turn the engine off and we don't let it keep running. If we look at our environment and our children and we see what they need and what we need, what our spouses need. What are some ways? Because season 1 of this show is called Affirm. So I believe that what we say to ourselves, what we think about ourselves, and the things that we repeat to ourselves either build us up or tear us down, right?
Yeah.
So what do you do? What do you do to affirm yourself in present day and maybe even leading up till now? What do you do to affirm yourself?
So let me tell you about me. Now, I'm a person. I'm that beautician that has everybody else's hair laid, but my hair be looking a mess. So what I mean by that is I'm not the best when it comes to talking about Bridgette. And I'm a very transparent person, So I would like to say that I have some things that I do, but I need to do better. And I'm not perfect. And some of the things that I do is mirror work. Mirror work is sitting in front of the mirror and actually looking at myself, not saying anything, just looking at myself and accepting what it is that I see. Yeah. Then I choose to speak to myself. However, this was very hard for me. Getting into this practice was very hard for me because I have come from a place where I have a lot of trauma over the years of I guess I could say mean girl trauma, people referring to you as stuck up or into yourself or, all of these things, you deal with in college and all this kind of stuff. But those are things that I allowed to hurt me on a soul level. I allowed to penetrate my spirit. And so because of that, it caused me to retreat years ago when it came to anything regarding myself. Anything pertaining to, talking good about myself. Yeah. So this is a work for me as well. And so with that being said, I utilize the mirror work to actually look at myself so that I can continue to heal and overcome that trauma that I had for people to judge me by my appearance without even me speaking. So it caused me to look at myself in a different light and to see myself and to love me for what I see. And not to feel bad about what I see. Are you following me?
Oh, absolutely.
Making me feel less than because I look a certain way or I carry myself a certain way. And I know a lot of people might feel like, well, why would you think that? But it affected me because I carried my head high and then I was told I'm not attracted to you by a male. I'm not attracted to you because you always walk with your head up high.
Oh, well, let me change that for you, bruh. Yeah. Okay.
But I didn't have that then. I didn't have that back then. You
had the, let me lower my head because it makes you feel more comfortable.
Exactly. And so when you get into situations like that over time from different people, you start
lower your head more and more.
You start to diminish the way you look and the way you carry yourself because you want to make others feel comfortable. Not anymore. Not anymore.
No more.
So, your question was, how do I affirm myself? For me, it was mirror work, to start with mirror work and to look at myself and accept myself for what I see. and to then affirm myself with affirmations.
Oh,
I repeat affirmations.
yeah. Would you mind doing an exercise with me?
Sorry, I'm sorry. I put my
You and the person on the phone. It's all right.
I'm sorry. I put it on silent and still.
It's all good. The power of editing. It's all right. So let's find ourselves as comfortable as you can. So
Okay.
both of us are sitting.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I want you to close your eyes or just gaze down at the floor. And I want you to notice what you hear. Notice how your body feels. Make any adjustment to make yourself feel more comfortable. And I want you to sit with the joy and the pleasure that it is to be with Bridgette, for Adrienne to be with Adrienne. Breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. I want you to repeat after me. I love myself.
I love myself.
I trust myself.
I trust myself.
I know that God has a plan for my good.
I know that God has a plan for my good.
I realize my internal and external beauty.
I realize my internal and external beauty.
My voice will change the world.
My voice will change the world.
You can open your eyes. Thank you for joining me in telling the truth about yourself and helping me to tell the truth about myself. I think sometimes as women, we don't do it enough. And
Mm-hmm.
particularly women who are in service to other women is so
Yeah.
quick to serve
Yeah.
others.
Yes.
I want you
Mm-hmm.
to truly see you as worthy. You have a gift to give to the world through all of your systems and design and holistic positive psychology and all the things that you do. And that's all well and good. But you are enough just sitting right there in that chair. And thank you for helping me to continue to realize that in all of my interactions with you.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate you. And I
Thank
hope that you can continually appreciate yourself and the gifts that you give to the world.
Thank you. Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know that when people listen to the Natural Home Network
Mm-hmm.
and they get introduced to Bridgette Pridgen, that they want to stay in touch with you. So how do people
Mm-hmm.
do that? Of course, I'll flash some stuff on the screen here and here. I don't know how to do it yet, but I will flash stuff on the screen. But how can people stay in touch? Let's say they want their emotions led by design. Let's say they want to take a course that you have. What do people
Okay.
do? I'm sure it's simple, but just make it plain.
Yes. You can visit my website at www.bridgette, Bridgette, Pridgen, Pridgen.com. And mostly we hang out on Instagram at Family Design Coach.
All right. Well, folks, that is another episode of the Natural Home Network, the first episode of the Natural Home Network. I feel like I've been doing this forever, but thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, thank you, thank you for coming to my first episode. I so
Thank you for
appreciate you.
having me.
And see y'all
Yes,
next
I
week.
appreciate you.
All right.
Yeah.
Tune in next time for our episode of Healing Habits at Home with Adrienne Carwheel, Wednesdays at 5:30 Eastern Time, right here on KP Media TV. That's it for this week. Join us again next Wednesday for Healing Habits at Home with Adrienne Carwheel.